Welcome to another grammar lesson brought to you by eBenkyou.com and Genki Kids 英会話. In this lesson, we will cover adverb plus verbs, frequency, always, usually, normally, generally, regularly, often, frequently, sometimes, occasionally, rarely, seldom, hardly ever, really rarely, never. Okay, let's begin. Here are ways to represent the frequency of doing something. At 100%, we have always, as in, I always drink water. Next, we have 95%, almost always, which is pretty close to always, just a little bit lower. Next, at 90%, we have usually, as in, I usually walk to school. A similar meaning to usually is regularly. Next, we have 80%, normally. And another 80% is generally. After that, at 70%, we have often, as in, I often play baseball. Another similar meaning to the word often is frequently. Next, at 50%, we have sometimes, as in, I sometimes read a book. Next, at 30%, we have occasionally, as in, I occasionally go to Tokyo. At 10%, we have seldom. And at 5%, we have rarely, as in, I rarely watch TV. Another 5% one is hardly ever. And at 1%, we have really rarely, as in, I really rarely sing. And also at 1% is almost never. And at 0% is never, as in, I never eat mushrooms. Okay, let's practice the words and the sentences one more time. Always, almost always, usually, regularly, normally, generally, often, frequently, sometimes, occasionally, seldom, rarely, hardly ever, really rarely, almost never, never. I always drink water. I usually walk to school. I often play baseball. I sometimes read a book. I occasionally go to Tokyo. I rarely watch TV. I really rarely sing. I never eat mushrooms. These percentages are not in stone. They are just an estimation. Okay, let's practice with some more example sentences. Here we go. I always go. He almost always goes. I usually eat bread. He regularly eats rice. I normally use chopsticks. He generally uses a fork. I often play hockey. He frequently plays soccer. I sometimes watch a movie. He occasionally watches TV. I seldom cook. He rarely cooks. I hardly ever study. He really rarely studies. I almost never drink coffee. He never drinks beer. Okay, let's read that at a normal pace this time. I always go. He almost always goes. I usually eat bread. He regularly eats rice. I normally use chopsticks. He generally uses a fork. I often play hockey. He frequently plays soccer. I sometimes watch a movie. He occasionally watches TV. I seldom cook. He rarely cooks. I hardly ever study. He really rarely studies. I almost never drink coffee. He never drinks beer. Okay, you read the sentences next.
I always go. He almost always goes. I usually eat bread. He regularly eats rice. I normally use chopsticks. He generally uses a fork. I often play hockey. He frequently plays soccer. I sometimes watch a movie. He occasionally watches TV. I seldom cook. He rarely cooks. I hardly ever study. He really rarely studies. I almost never drink coffee. He never drinks beer.
Fantastic. Nice job, everybody. Thank you for listening. For more practice using lessons and tests, check out eBenkyou.com. eBenkyou is a website that provides over 14,000 different lessons and tests that enable students to learn and practice English at their own pace. There are many lessons available for all levels, starting from basic vocab, phonics, and grammar. Each of the points covered will also have many corresponding lessons and tests at eBenkyou.com. I hope to see you there. Have a good day.